Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Who's that cosplayer? And I have somebody that is really cool. I met this guy at KatsuCon this year. You know, I've had several of his homies up here on Who's That Cosplayer, and that is the cosplayer himself, Brandnewboricua. How you doing today, Eddie?
I'm doing great, man. How are you? I just got out of class, just a few minutes ago.
Hey, I am doing fantastic. I am tired. I literally just finished working out at the gym. And that is something that we're going to be talking about on today's interview because you are a gym bro yourself. So you already know what it is, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you're up here. We both survived the Great Turkey War. You know, Thanksgiving was just last week. And, you know, we're here, man. So thank you so much for joining me. And before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So, Eddie, are you ready to get into today's interview?
Absolutely, man.
All right, let's go ahead and rock. So the first question that I ask each and every guest up here is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who you are.
All right, so I technically started cosplaying back in like 2013, 2014, starting with like, this is probably every cosplayer's beginning Halloween, like the greatest holiday. I was a big fan of the creepypasta at the time. So come Halloween, I was like, I want to make some really like good cosplays, or like some cool costumes, a creepypasta. So I started with Eyeless Jack, which like my account was like revolved around for a long time. And then I did Jeff the Killer. Then I got away from that for a few years. I went to my first anime convention in 2015, Anime Next in New Jersey. And I just like threw the mask back on for Eyeless Jack, and like that was my first convention. And then I didn't really get back into it until Otakon and New York Comic Con of 2021. What's it called? I had just gotten into Demon Slayer. That was when it was like just starting to pick up a bit. I remembered that like I've done cosplay before. I was like, I really want to do this again. I was like, I really want to be an Osuke one day. So my girlfriend at the time and my friends, for my birthday, they made me the head, which was like my first real big cosplay. And then I went to Otakon of 2021, and then it was history.
That's awesome, man. And, you know, I hear that from so many of my guests that, you know, Halloween was my gateway to getting into cosplay. I mean, for real, it was for everybody. I feel like, you know, we get older and we're just like, do I really want to, you know, take it to the next level? Because there is a huge difference between Halloween costumes and actual cosplay. And you can see it like when you go to like Party City or Spirit Halloween. And like, bro, there was one time I had went to Spirit Halloween and I can't remember what costume it was, but I was just like, man, it's just like, I've seen better Naruto cosplays at cons than like what they're trying to sell here at Spirit Halloween. Just wild, man. So I want to ask you, like, what was it that made you stop going to conventions and stop cosplaying for those years? Because, you know, I hear from so many guests, it's just like they go to their first con and then they're addicted and they just keep going. And it's like they get better as time goes on. Like, what was the reason for you? Did you just fall out of love with anime?
Nah, so I've been watching anime since I was about like 6 years old. My uncle got me into it. Like, I was always an animation kid. I loved cartoons. I loved, Disney. I loved anime. But from 2014 until about the tail end of 2020, I did not have social media at all. I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have Twitter. All I used was like YouTube, and I just went to school. So back in 2015 for my first convention, I kind of just like heard about it through like word of mouth, I think. And I was like, oh, like I've heard of this type of stuff before, you know, like Comic-Con, conventions. So I begged my parents, you know, they bought me the tickets and stuff, and we went as a family. But after that, kind of like how now, you know, I hear about new conventions like every day because of other cosplayers and social media and stuff. There's no way to find out about that kind of stuff. I didn't know it was so prominent. So I kind of just went to that one con and then like didn't really know about anything else until I got back into social media.
Okay. Yeah, I feel you on that. I mean, I feel like it's just one of those things where, I mean, because, I'm a lot older than you. And, back in the day, we didn't really, like, social media wasn't that big back then. So it was mostly word of mouth if we did figure out, like, what cons were going on. I feel like everybody knew about San Diego Comic Con and New York Comic Con because, like, those were the big ones. And then, the con scene just blew up. And then there was cons here, cons there, and you've been cosplaying, and you've been a guest at a con, several cons. So I want to know, like, how was that experience for you? Did you ever think that you were gonna be a guest at a convention?
Absolutely not. So this recent convention that I was like a guest at, I was invited to. I'm still like I still can't get over that, even though it's like a brand new con. That experience is just a lot of fun. It's definitely nerve-wracking. I feel like I feel like I'm held to such like a high standard. It's like, oh shit, I'm a guest. I gotta, you gotta be perfect and stuff. So it's definitely really nervous, but like once I settled down like at my booth and got things going, I kind of just acted like my normal self. I talked to my friends, I played music like I always loved to do, and just like kind of made it a fun thing. But I never thought that like I'd really ever get to this level. I never thought I'd ever like get my page to the amount of growth that it has now. Like it's crazy. It's a ton of fun, and I'm honored, really.
So I want to ask you because, like, this is something that I talk with people about who always say that they want to be a guest at a con, or like say like if somebody's been cosplaying for several years and they've never been invited to a con as a guest. Like, what is some advice that you would give to everybody that's watching this if they wanted to be a guest at a con? Like, how would they go into being?
So I would say when it comes to that, definitely like don't be shy. That's definitely one thing. You want to like one of the things that's helped me grow and like even just get like that opportunity to be a guest is just talking to people. I like to have fun. I always love just interacting with people, talking to people. That's how I was able to become a guest, because I talked to the person who put together and hosted the con at a convention by pure coincidence. He liked my cosplay and then reached out to me like a month or two before the con. I was like, hey, would you like to be a guest? So I was like, yeah, of course. I would say definitely like networking is definitely a big thing. But yeah, don't be shy, put yourself out there, be a little goofy, like I always at conventions when I cosplay a character, I always make a playlist of like songs, like anime openings, endings, or like soundtracks from the anime that they belong to, and just like walk around blasting the music while I'm cosplaying the character. So like you can't be afraid to have eyes on you is certainly one thing, because not only like will that just help with like if you want to grow, of course, like as a page, you have to, it's a nerve-wracking thing even with that in mind, but you can't be shy. So I
Yeah.
definitely say just talk to people, make friends, and just let things line up. Let the dominoes fall.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. It is all about networking, and it's about just having the fun. And also, too, like you said, it's just like you do have to talk to people. And like that's something that I tell people all the time. It's just like, like go to the people that are running the con, or like people that work at the con, and ask them, like, well, like, how does one become a guest? Because you're never going to know unless you ask. And when you are a guest at a con, it's such a fun experience. People come to your table, like they ask questions, and like they take photos with you, they buy your merchandise and whatnot, and it's such a cool experience. So Eddie, now I want to ask you, what has been some of your favorite moments from going to conventions over the years?
Oh, that's such a incredible question, because it's so hard to answer, because there's just so many amazing memories that I've had. One of my big like motivations for going to conventions is the guests. So like I have so many stories about like meeting voice actors that I've idolized, celebrities that I've idolized and stuff like that, and just like being able to talk with them and joke around with them, and like that feeling is just so like freaking invigorating. Like I met Steve Bloom, who's maybe my favorite voice actor, and I was like this close to genuinely crying.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. Trust me, I know the feeling.
Yeah. One of my favorite cons, of course, is Puerto Rico Comic Con, just because like I always knew that like Puerto Rico has like us Hispanics, like one thing that's well known is like we love Dragon Ball. I was like I know
Uh-huh.
that like, yeah, like anime is like a little niche, but still very like it's like popular but niche at the same time, I feel like. But like I never would have imagined, because I go to Puerto Rico every year to visit family.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that side of the island. I never thought I would see so many other Puerto Ricans that do the same thing as I do, that love anime just as much, that love to cosplay and stuff. Because like again, like I don't, as much as I love the island, as much as I represent it, I don't live there.
Yeah.
I go every year. I do get a good taste of it, but again, I'm not like, I'm not from there. I never would have imagined seeing so many Boricuas love anime as much as I do, and it was an amazing feeling. Just being able to party with them. Oh my god, because that's my scene. I want either Spanish music, reggaeton, Latin trap, or I want like R&B and hip hop. And that's all that was played, and I loved it. Like the energy was just unmatched at Puerto Rico Comic Con.
Yeah.
So just being able to like party and love anime with my fellow Boricuas was like one of the best feelings. And then of course like all the friends that I've met. I met my current girlfriend through conventions and
Hey, give her a shout out, bro. Give her a shout out.
At Punk Witch Cosplay. Go follow her.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to piggyback off of is the Puerto Rico Comic Con. I interviewed RC Cos, who y'all can check out her interview. It is up here on YouTube. And when I had interviewed her, because she lives in Puerto Rico, and she was telling me that like the cosplay scene down there, like it's like people, it's frowned upon, right? It's just like, I mean, I feel like even here in America, when you go to certain areas, like if you were to go to the mall and cosplay, like you'll encounter some weebs there, but you got a bunch of normies that are just like, yo, like what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But she was telling me that like in Puerto Rico, like cosplay is frowned upon a lot down there. And but she said when you go to the con, like how you was just saying, like it's such a awesome feeling. It's just like you're around like other nerds and stuff like that, and you're having a good time. So I just wanted to give her a shout out because like I interviewed her, I want to say it was like 2 years ago when she was talking about that. And it's awesome to have somebody else up here on Who's That Cosplayer that has gone to Puerto Rico to go to Puerto Rico Comic Con and, just have a good time. So I want to ask you this question about Puerto Rico Comic Con. Because you've gone there and then you've gone to cons here in the state, like what would you say is one huge difference between, the con in Puerto Rico and the cons here in America?
So one thing that I definitely say is the energy is like, I feel like it's just so much more friendlier. It's already like everyone there is like, all right, everyone here is probably Boricua. We're all like, everyone's family at that point. And one of the amazing things that I really loved about it is because you always see the conversation around like how cosplayers of different color are treated differently. Typically the sort of big ones that you see are usually like, a white cosplayer will do a character and like everyone gets praised. The black cosplayer does a character and like faces some backlash.
Yeah.
One thing that was amazing about it was Puerto Ricans are an extremely diverse people. We come in all shapes, sizes, skin colors, and everything. So seeing all these characters that canonically are usually like Japanese, these characters aren't canonically black or Hispanic or anything like that. Seeing just fellow Boricuas of all different colors cosplaying these characters so passionately and putting so much incredible effort into it was beautiful to me, honestly. Just being able to see my people be the characters that they love so much and put so much passion into it really made me happy. It was a really awesome thing to see. And like when you see that again, like it just makes the unfairness, to put it lightly, in the cosplay community really frustrating, because everyone is here to have fun and everyone loves what they do.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree with what you're saying. And I feel like when you go to conventions and you see people cosplaying as their favorite characters, it's a whole different feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like how you say you felt really good because you saw, your people, and cosplays and cosplaying characters that, you know, if they were over here in America, which it doesn't usually happen at cons, is more online. But
Yeah.
it's just like when you go to like being in Puerto Rico and just, you know, seeing people who look like you and people who didn't look like you, but it, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it was just a good feeling because everybody just loved doing what they were doing and they enjoyed it, and they didn't have to worry about somebody saying like, oh, like you're the brown version of this character or you're the black version of that character, which is something that I feel like people of color online have to deal with all the time. Like, you know, like today I had posted a video in my Luffy cosplay, and like I heard you know, black Luffy, N-word Luffy, and somebody had like put in quotations monkey D Luffy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
saw that.
So I mean, it sucks because it's just like when it comes to cosplay, everybody just wants to have a good time. And, you know, I'm a supporter of, you know, anybody cosplaying, you know, whoever they want to cosplay as. It doesn't matter what color you are, what shape you are, because like you said, we're all here to have a fun time. We're here to have a good time. And if you're going to be a hater, kick rocks.
Yeah, facts. What's it called? And like, funny enough too, like two of my like biggest inspirations are cosplayers of color. Whoa, Chris Whoa, shout out to him. Love that dude. First of all, when I met him in person, I was fanboying. I love he's so cool. But I still remember when I first saw his, because I cosplay Okayasu. He's one of my favorite bros. When I saw his video, Higashikata Josuke, and he does the hand effect, I was like, yo, his Okayasu is perfect. And then my girl Dime, Beat by Dime, shout out to her too, insanely skilled cosplayer and makeup artist. Everything she does with makeup is phenomenal.
Awesome. And just to piggyback off what you said, Whoa, Chris Whoa is awesome. You can check out his interview. I did interview him. It is up here on YouTube. And yeah, like Eddie said, like he's just a really awesome guy.
Yeah.
Who's that cosplayer?
Best demiguise.
So I want to ask you now, because like, you know, you've gone to the cons, you've been a guest and stuff like that. You got so many amazing cosplays. What are your top 3 favorite cosplays that you've done?
Top 3. That's always so. I know the top two. The top 2 are easy. Number 1 and 2 are like, they fight for my favorite. But it's Ryomen Sukuna, of course, from Jujutsu Kaisen, and David Martinez from Cyberpunk Edge Runners, of course. 3 is probably Inosuke. I just love, I love that character. He's my favorite Demon Slayer. I love his energy. He's just a little freaking like a rascal goofball. I love him. And then like close fourth is like Broly, Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Hey, yeah, that is a good one. I feel like when it comes to cosplay, like we all have that cosplay that even if we do over 100 cosplays, because there's people out there that have done that, it's like there's always that one that's your favorite. And I feel like, you know, like seeing your cosplays on your page, just always seeing David from Cyberpunk or seeing Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen, like those are the ones that I always, you know, when I think of you, I think of, you know, like for me, like people always say like Jotaro or Rengoku because of the smile and whatnot. So it's just, I just think it's awesome that it's just like we have those go-to cosplays that we're known for. So now I want to ask you, and it's crazy because, you know, like I said at the start of the interview, I've had some of your homies up here. I've had Chocolate Mold, man. You can check out their interview. It's up here. I've had Haley Koss up here. You can check out her interview. And it's like on Haley's interview, she told a story about how y'all were at a con together and you were out partying all night. And when you came back to the room, he was just like, all right, y'all, let's just get to the con and have a good time. Like, do you want to tell your side? Because it's like, I've heard this from Chocolate Mold, man. I heard it from Tyler. I heard it from Haley. Now I gotta hear your side, man.
Oh yeah. So I'm assuming that was most likely Anime NYC of last.
Yes, it was. It was.
I knew it. Yeah. So they were all staying at my house. I live an hour. I usually drive up into the city because I only live an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
So I was letting them crash at my place. I was like, hey, you know, it's Saturday night. I want to party. Y'all can go back to my place if you want, crash, but I'm gonna be out. So I was in the city partying. until like 3 in the morning or something.
That is
and then
insane.
I had to drive. Yeah, and then I had to drive the hour back. So I get back, and I always I take my time with everything, dude. So I get home, I eat my food, I shower on my phone for a little bit, and then I black out. 2 hours later, we're awake. I'm like, I have to get into Sukuna, which is like 3 hours of body paint. Plus, that was the first and only time I did Sukuna with the ripped out heart.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like another extra like 30 minutes to an hour of makeup. And I'll tell you what, I have a meme where it's like how you feel depending on how many hours of sleep you got, and it goes from like 1 to 8. 2 hours, you feel like you can see the fabric of space.
That is insane. But
I swear to God,
if
I get 4 hours, I feel like shit. 2 hours, I'm good to go.
No, I feel you. I totally feel you on that. And it's crazy because at KatsuCon this year, I want to say it was Saturday, me and my friend, Sound God Uzi, we went to the rave, and then we ended up going downstairs to the fountain. And like we were just kicking it with other cosplayers. Like, believe it or not, like everybody that's watching this, like go to the fountain at like 12 o'clock. Like you'll meet some cool people down there. Y'all just be chilling, talking about anime and whatnot. We met these people down there. We talked with them for hours, and then it was going on 6 a.m. And he's like, bro, we got to go to bed, man. It's like, we got to get up soon and everything. I was like, bro, I'm not going to bed. He was just like, what? He said, you're not going to bed? I said, bro, I'm about to go back to the room. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to walk the floor, and then I'll come back upstairs and I'll get in the Rengoku. He was like, you crazy. I'm going to sleep. So I totally understand where you're coming from because, bro, I never went to sleep. I didn't go to sleep until I got home Sunday night. That was when I went to sleep. And I remember I was driving. It was a 3-hour drive, and my friend that was with me, Enduring Sunflower, whose interview y'all can check out up here on YouTube, they was just like, I don't understand like how you're still up. And I was just like, man, it's like, I just got the juice. That's all I can say. I just got the juice. Like, I'll sleep when I get home. So
especially after a good night too, because you just have that peak.
Yo, it's crazy. Like you go to these cons, man, you be having a good time, and like sometimes it's just like, yo, I don't want to go to sleep, you know. So we're getting close to the end of the interview, and you know, I just had to ask that question. So, you know, Chocolate Mold Man and Haley, if they check out this interview, awesome, like they can see that, you know, Eddie finally told the world what happened. But now I gotta ask you, because the Great Turkey War was last week, Thanksgiving, and I gotta know, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish of all time?
Ooh, oh my God, that's hard. That's why I like, you know, some people don't like Thanksgiving. Some people don't like Thanksgiving food. Dude, has a Hispanic household, best part of Thanksgiving, that food slaps every year. But so I don't know if people just don't make it right, because I feel like this is a hot take. I like candy yams. Candy yams, mashed potatoes, or candy yams with the marshmallows.
That's what I was waiting for. That is what I was waiting for, with the marshmallows.
So good, so good. That with the Thanksgiving turkey.
Perfect. Okay, now what is your least favorite Thanksgiving dish?
I don't know. We don't make bad food.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I've had like other people's Thanksgiving food, and probably like, I don't know, like some, like if you give me some like green bean casserole, like I'm full. I'm sorry.
No, I feel you, because like everybody makes their green bean casserole totally different. So like I totally understand that. So yeah, Eddie, we're here at the end of the interview. I got one final question for you, because we're talking about the Great Turkey War. If you could have Thanksgiving dinner with one of your favorite anime characters, somebody who you have cosplayed as, who would that character be?
Sukuna's a jerk. Inosuke would start a food fight. Dragon Ball Super Broly's awkward, but he's definitely a foodie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I might have to say Vash. I might have to say Vash the Stampede, because I'm like, one of the reasons I love him is because he's like a sweet tooth junkie. I love donuts. We'll be talking about like snacks and candy and donuts, and just like inhaling food all night, having fun. He's a sweetheart. He always like puts other people before himself. I'd have to say it'd probably be like the best company to have at a Thanksgiving table.
Okay. All right. I mean, and I just feel like, hanging with Vash, like he's a positive person. Y'all will be having a good time and whatnot. And like how you said with Inosuke, like he's definitely going to start a fight unless the food is really good. And like you said, Puerto Rican food is really good. Like for real, like legit. Like if y'all have never had Puerto Rican food, have it. Like it is really good. Like, one of my best friends when I was younger, I went over to his house for, I was about to say Thanksgiving, but I went over to his house one night. And his mom, like, she does not cook. You know what I'm saying? She works, and it says like if she cooks, it is a special occasion. And because I was over there, she was just like, I don't want this guy thinking that I don't cook for you, so I'm gonna cook. Bro, she made the best Puerto Rican rice. And what was it? It was steak. It was. I think it was country fried steak, but she actually used like a real steak, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, like I've never had something like this before. And he's like, bro, Puerto Rican moms know how to throw down in the kitchen. I was like, bro, I feel that because Black moms know how to throw down in the kitchen too. So we like this, my guy. So
it's my abuela's downstairs just brought some food over for us.
See, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, bro, like you about to throw down. And you know what? One final question, because I mentioned this at the start of the interview and we didn't talk about it. But me and you were both gym bros. We be in the gym. We be doing our things. I got to ask you, what is one of the proudest moments that you have done in the gym? Like one of your biggest accomplishments that you have done?
Ooh, so I would say the first and only time I ever went for a max. So max on flat bench press. Because since I'm usually at the gym, I'm always either on my own or with my boy Matt. I don't really, so because of that, I don't usually have a spotter. And when I'm at home doing chest, I have a Smith machine.
Yeah.
So there was one time where I was student teaching, and the teacher that I was shadowing, she had to substitute for a class, and it was like the PE fitness class or something. The classroom is literally just a gym. I was like, yo, this is so cool. So I'm in a button-up, dress pants, dress shoes or something, and I see the kids hitting the weights. I'm like, yo, y'all mind helping me go for a max real quick? They're like, all right, okay, we'll help you. So they're like, let's do 205 or something. So they put the weights on, I go down, I do 205 for 2. So technically it wasn't even a max, but that was like the most I'd done, in an attempt at a max at one point. So, and I still talk about it because it's so funny that I can say I benched 205 for 2 reps with my students in like a full formal outfit.
Yeah, I mean, that's
such a goofy story.
I mean, that's badass because it's just like you're not in gym attire. You're just in casual clothes. And look, bro, I don't care like if it was 10 reps you did or 2. I tell everybody all the time, as long as you do something, even if you do 1, because it's just like you attempted to do it, so it's like pinkies up for you for reaching that goal. And I hope that you continue to climb and go up. I want to say like the heaviest I ever did, I did 300 pounds. And like that had always been one of my goals. I was just like, man, I want to be able to bench 300 pounds. That was the goal before the pandemic. The pandemic happened, everybody started slacking off and everything because, the gyms were closed and whatnot. And if you had the equipment at home, you got bored with it because it's like, eventually it's just like you get tired of doing the same thing all the time. So I want to say it was sometime this year. I was at the gym, and usually people like to work out with me because like I'm a good motivator and influencer because I'm somebody that used to be close to 500 pounds and I lost 200 pounds. So I'm up in there with my friend, and then like one of my gym bros comes up to me and he's just like, bro, like, have you ever tried going to 300 or anything like that? I was just like, nah, man, because like you just said, I go there, I don't really have a spotter, and if I'm working out with like one of my woman friends, she ain't gonna be spotting me with no 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, bro, I got you, and I was just like, all right, bet. So, bro, I put the plates up there, and I did 2 reps, and I was like, I was so proud of myself because I was like, man, like I always wanted to do this, and I was able to do it. So that's why I'm just saying, bro. it don't matter how many you done, you did it. And like, that's all that matters. Can't nobody take that away from you. And even if you don't do it again, at least you can still brag about it, and you can brag about doing it in a button up and some slack. So with that being said, we are here at the end of the interview. Thank you so much, Eddie, for joining me up here. Thank you, everybody, for watching this interview. Y'all already know that we are about to go into the Great Gingerbread War now, so we got to prepare for that. So, Eddie, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
Sure. So I'm on Instagram and TikTok, same username, Brandnewboricua, Boricua. Thank you for having me, dude. And
you're welcome.
I hope everyone enjoys this interview.
Hey, that's right. That's right. Y'all make sure that y'all follow Eddie on all of his social media accounts. Y'all already know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.